Welcome back to video 2 in this series, where I try to discern how AI is changing our workforce and how we can find our place. Video 2 is going to be about humans, because we humans need to find our place and define our strength, define, well, what we're lacking, where AI is superior, because a couple of places, maybe math, maybe not, who knows, it's outperforming us by far. So come with me, I'll show you the second part, and I hope you stick around.
Events can now be live translated via apps. So CERN is using learning systems to speed up simulations to actually find bosons. The self-driving truck, so a huge workforce that is going to be out of a job. Oh yeah, and they're ruining our favorite game. What are humans good at? So you see that I'm actively pitting them against each other, because basically this talk is for us, for humans, why and how we can actually position ourselves to still have a job in 10 years, 20 years. So we are good at bridging these domain concepts. I mean, a well and seismic data can be really, really different, but they're still in the same subsurface, and we know that because we're like, yeah, sure, we take all this depth data and it's all there, and this one looks a bit different than that, but we can kind of bridge that. We can do seismic well ties, which are still a really, really hard thing to do automatically. Of course, people are working on that because it would be amazing to do it automatically, but yeah. Communicate among teams. If you talk to some of the data scientists, like Duncan Irving, for example, well, he told me this nice story, and he told me I'm never going to forget it, because he basically says he's a marriage counselor. He's taking the IT and the business, and they used to get along really well, but they haven't spoken for a long time, and IT changed. So they need to get back together, and I mean, you need humans for these kind of things to get together your teams that are building individual systems. I mean, business is doing analytics. I mean, McKinsey basically comes in, throws scikit-learn at the problem, goes out again, and you have a system. IT is really good at building systems these days as well. So you can somehow make them talk to each other, and AI will probably not be good at that. Like, you actually need a human that goes from there, speaks their language, and goes to there and speaks their language, somehow makes sense of it. Validate results. The neural network will learn exactly what you tell it, and it will give you, if you don't hinder the neural network, it will remember exactly what you gave. Validating your results and seeing if they actually make sense is a human job. Asking the right question is a human job. I'm putting be empathetic on there, and this is more aspirational because we could all be a bit more empathetic and kind, and also the ethical part. I mean, this is an exhibition for the oil industry. A lot of people here could be a little bit more ethical, or work a bit more ethical. And the empathy part, communication takes understanding of the other people. I see a lot of talks where the questions in the end are hostile, where people are not being particularly nice to lift themselves up, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate it, I have to say. I think humans should be more empathetic, should be nicer to each other, because that's what we should be good at. And transfer knowledge from other fields. So when I look at medical, I see seismic data, but just with a bit of a different aspect. So an ultrasound is just seismic data at a different wavelength. Neural network doesn't know that because the frequencies differ, so the learned representations are a little bit different. But for us, it's easy to make these connections. If you just read something from there, you can think, oh, how can I apply these drones to my field? Oh yeah, I can build digital outputs, stuff like that. So That's what we're really good at. But the 50% gap, so after already being on a diatribe about being empathetic, let's go to the 5 things I think humans are not so good at compared to neural networks or AI. Assessing bias. There's this fantastic paper by Claire Bond where she sent out the same 2D seismic section to a lot of different interpreters and got vastly different answers depending on what the experience of the person was. The PhD student working in salt had a big salt sheet in the middle. The thrust experience guy had a thrust in his entire thing. The compression one had compression. It's ridiculous. Like, people are really bad at taking a step back and looking at what they're seeing actually makes sense. That's also a bonus from us because geoscience is inherently hard, so we need this kind of bias to make sense, but sometimes we should take more information in if the thrust belt actually makes sense here, or if this is actually something completely different. So this is definitely something we can work on, but right now I see a lot of people always, well, if all you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. That's kind of the approach a lot of people take, and it doesn't work. Like, transferring expert knowledge, people leave. People are really bad. So I'm an early career researcher, and there's not, well, when I went to companies, I heard a lot, well, you have to have 15 years of experience working on this to understand it. And I'm like, well, you have 30 years, you could probably spare me 5 years by just having a good conversation here and not just pointing me to make your own mistakes, because a couple of your mistakes might really be taken away by that. And we could be better at it. I mean, this is really also aspirational. People could be better at transferring knowledge and sharing what they know. I mean, a lot of my favorite people are going into teaching, at least some stuff, even if it's consultant teaching. I mean, I'm also consultant teaching, so, but transferring that expert knowledge becomes more and more important to make us stand out against AI. So if we want to survive, we have to be more collaborative. But if you ask a question and there's a 5-minute question session, and basically you're having a 5-minute monologue, that is pointing a lot to ego. That is pointing a lot to, you're not there to ask a question, you're there to lift yourself up, and you should probably take a step back. Most humans I know are really good at 2D. Some are okay at 3D, everything beyond gets really hard. Some mathematicians maybe understand a couple of more dimensions. I haven't met them yet, or I didn't understand them. Having these complex data sets where you have basically 7 time steps of seismic data, and you have the seismic data in pre-stack, where you can think about them in several different dimensions, it breaks people's heads. This is also what neural networks are perfect for, understanding these high-dimensional data sets and somehow extracting information from it. And people are just terrible at math. Like, even if you're good at math, you're bad at math, because like the computer can do calculations really, really quickly. And I mean, we can do the concepts, and that's also what it's about, understand the concepts, but leave the math to a computer. They're better at it, and they're safer at it. I mean, a couple of companies have lost a lot of money because of a minus in one of their spreadsheets that just made their way into it. And I would not want to be that person. I'd rather have a nice Python script that is checked, tested, and reproducible. Leave it to the computers, not to the humans.
Welcome on the other side. Let me know what you think. Am I painting too bad of a picture? Am I putting humans too much on a pedestal? Are we in deeper trouble than I think? Or are we actually doing better? I really want to know, because there's gonna be a part 3, and I hope you'll be along. See you there. Bye. Vlog talking is still really weird for me, so I'm trying to find quiet places where I'm not around people.